Hi, hello, how are you? For anyone that's actually returned to my channel, welcome back. Thanks for coming and sitting and listening to me rant about books. Once again, this strap keeps falling down. But yeah, thanks for coming and sitting and listening to me talk about books, because I could talk about it all day and I have a lot of opinions to share. So why not put it on the internet, right? And if you're new, welcome. I'm Mackenzie. It's nice to meet you. Welcome to my channel. Stick around a while, read a book in the back while you listen to me yap in the background. Go for it, I don't care, that's what I do. So I figured I could be that person for you. I told myself I was going to post consistently this year, so I'm giving myself no excuses. I'm making sure that I'm organized, so I'm going to film pretty consistently and then I'm going to post pretty consistently. So enjoy all of the things that I get up to and chat about. But today we're not worrying about content or anything like that. We are just going to have a little chat. And I am a little bit late to the game with this tag, but I figured why not. I think it's a good way to kind of get to know me as a reader, what I like, and get some recommendations about books, because why not? So yeah, this is the beginning of the year book tag. Hope you enjoy the video. Let me know if you want any further information on something I said in the video. If you want to ask me any questions, go for it. But yeah, let's get started with the tag. Grab a snack, grab a drink, get cozy, get comfy. It's gonna be a long one, so it'll be nice to have something on the background. Go do your washing, or you know, something. If you're avoiding doing chores, do that while you listen to me talk about books. But yeah, pause, grab your things, and once you're ready, settle back down. Okay, I don't know who the original creator of this tag is. If I can find it, I'll like tag them obviously and give them credit where credit's due in the description. So if you've got any questions about the tag or anything like that, have a look, excuse me, in the description. But the first question of this tag is, how many books are you planning on reading in 2025? Now, I am going to preface this by saying my goal sounds very over dramatic. But I did read over my goal last year, so I was like, well, what's an extra challenge, right? In saying this though, I am really going to be prioritizing the content that I read this year, and I want to make sure that it's books that I really enjoy, and I'm not going to waste time on books that I felt the need to finish just because I started them. It's a big habit of mine, is I will start a book and force myself all the way through the book, even if I'm not enjoying it. So I have made myself a goal this year to make sure that if I don't enjoy a book by 50%, or if I don't find myself reaching for it, constantly picking it up, wanting to read it, I need to DNF it, because I'm not wasting my time on books that I don't like to put myself in a reading slump. So that being said, I'm planning on reading 100 books is the goal this year. Last year I managed to read 70 and my goal was 60, so I went 10 over. So I think it is definitely achievable if I keep, you know, picking books that I enjoy to read, and rather than doom scrolling on my phone, because that is one thing that I'm the hopeless for, and to putting myself in reading slumps by DNFing books. So yeah, we're going to DNF books. We're not going to waste time on books this year. Next question, a book that you are likely to reread this year. If you watched my January reading wrap up video, you would have known that I've already reread 4 books this year. They are my favorites. So I have already reread Pucking Around, Pucking Wild, Pucking Sweet, and The Fourth Wing dramatized adaptation. I listened to all of those on audiobook. So I've already reread / listened to the Jacksonville Rays series. If you haven't read that series and you're a hockey romance girly or guy or whatever, like if you're into hockey romance, or you kind of wanting to dip your toes into hockey romance, Emily Rath writes beautifully, and the way she explains hockey as well makes it understandable for somebody who's never been into hockey or never understood the sport, and it kind of helps with the story. So yes, definitely recommend the Jacksonville Rays series if you haven't read it. But keeping on the theme of rereading hockey romances, I am planning on rereading The Dare by Al Kennedy, because I really would like to finish the series this year, and I've only got the first book, so I'm going to read the first book and then from there decide, yep, this is definitely a series that I want to keep investing in. So yeah. The next question, a priority read on your 2025 TBR. I have so many books that I want to read this year. I'm going to do a whole separate video of my Feb TBR. I know I put a little bit into my January reading wrap up, but there's so many books that I would like to kind of get through this month or read. Some books that have already sparked my eye, all of that stuff, but these are the top 3 books that if I get through the end of the year without reading those, somebody slap me around, because what have I been doing with my life? So the first one is Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. I've seen heaps of people recommending it, heaps of people loving it, and I have the physical copy with me. I'm looking after it, like I'm house sitting at the moment, so it's not even my house. I'm not even near all my books. I miss them, I miss my babies. But yes, definitely going to read Lights Out by Nevessa Allen, and I would love to get it read before Caught Up comes out, so that I can read Caught Up when it does come out. The second book that I would like to read in 2025 and I'm prioritizing is Butcher and the Blackbird and Leather and Like, the whole series, because the trilogy is coming back. The final book in the trilogy is coming out, I believe, in March or end of Feb. I can't remember the exact date, but yeah, I would like to read those 2 before that one comes out, so again, I can read it once it's finished. And finally, I'd love to read Light Luck. I have the most stunning special edition of this book, and it is a book that me and my best friend's partner have in common, which is, funnily enough, I told him about the book and I told him about the blurb, and he was like, oh my god, that sounds really interesting, but you read it first and annotate it, and then I'll read it and we'll swap. So that's our little like book project this year, is we're going to start reading similar books. I'll read it first, I'll annotate it, and then pass it on to him, and he'll do the same. So yeah, they are my top 3 priority reads for 2025, and I'm really looking forward to reading these books and understanding the hype, trying to figure out if the hype was worth it, all of that fun stuff. We're about to get some controversial territory. So the next question is an author you won't be reading anymore from this year. Now, everyone has their opinions on authors that they love, don't love, books they won't read again. I have given this author many chances. I have DNF'd many of books from this author, and I just don't see myself picking up any of their books. 1, because I don't really intend on giving them the money, and 2, I just don't like their writing style. I don't want to be controversial, but I just don't like their writing style. I don't find myself reaching for their books when I start reading them either. I got maybe a chapter into one of their most popular books and I was like, what is this? So yes, that's Colleen Hoover. I will not be reading anything further from her book collections unless she writes something that is absolutely gobsmacking, jaw-dropping on the floor, everyone is raving about it, it's only ever had positive reviews, then I may pick up said book. But I did not even finish Verity. I got 1 chapter in and decided that I did not like it. I read It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us, and they are the only 2 books that I've enjoyed of hers, and I've read a few of them. So I don't intend on reading any more of her stuff, unfortunately. The next question, something new you want to read in 2025, whether it be a genre or a trope. Now, I've said this multiple times, and if you're on my TikTok as well, you'll see I am a dark romance, contemporary romance girly until the day, oh my goodness, excuse me, until the day I die. It's just my favorite genre. It's something that I always find comfort in. I always can attach, you know, a similar thought process with the characters with. I'm a romance girly at heart. I'm a hopeless romantic. My poor boyfriend cops the flack from it all the time. So I do want to branch out in saying that though, and when I post my February TBR and hopefuls video, you'll be very, very proud of me, because there is a book in there that falls directly into this genre. And that being said, I do want to read more thriller or psychological thriller books. And like, yeah, anyone from Frida McFadden, I've heard that she's phenomenal. I have a friend who is a romance girly to her core as well, and she has been reading Frida McFadden and has loved it. So I would love to kind of get into her universe and read a lot of her books. My mum loves Frida McFadden, She thinks that her writing style is it's easy to pace with and read, and she just finds it quite drawing, like it draws her in. So I definitely want to read some of her books. I have The Housemaid and The Housemaid's Secret, and I think I'm going to start with them. On to the next question. Okay, please do not shoot me when you hear that I haven't read this book yet. I have every intention of reading it, hopefully by March at the latest. A popular book you would like to read. I have not read Quicksilver by Callie Hart, and I would love to. I've seen so many people just like raving about this book and how, you know, there's a shadow daddy, and we all know that Xaden Ryerson has my heart and soul. We love Xaden. I think everyone has a special spot in their heart for Zaddy. So another shadow daddy is a nice place filler for the fact that we're not going to get on it, the next Imperium book before 2027. So I feel like if Quicksilver does it for me, it'll be a nice book to kind of read and reference while we're missing our beloved Zaddy, but without comparing him to our beloved Zaddy. Oh, and there's another series. I'm going to give a series a chance. I have read the first book in the series, and it was when I was not a fantasy reader. I did not like reading fantasy. This was back in 2023. And I was not a big fantasy reader. I was only reading like strictly romance, and I just could not, most of the world building went over my head, and I think that's why I didn't enjoy the first book. But everyone loves it, everyone raves about it, and it's the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I have not finished it. I read the first book, like I said, back in 2023, and the world building went straight over my head. I just did not find myself connecting to the story or the characters very well. And so I read the first book, I finished it, and I just did not pick up the rest of the series. So I'm going to give ACOTAR a second chance this year, and I'm going to read the first 2 books, and if I'm still not all about it by the end of the second book, I think it's going to be an indefinite DNF for me, unfortunately. On to the most exciting part of the video, my most anticipated releases of 2025. There are so many books that are coming out this year, so many releases that are coming out in just February alone, from so many genres. So I picked my top 4 that I'm the most looking forward to. I figured 4 was nice. Even number, and you can pick 2 of each if you wish to join the excitement with me. And the first one I've already read. So like I said, this video is being uploaded and filmed late. So my most anticipated release of 2025 was definitely Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. Especially after Iron Flame kind of fell a little bit flat, in my opinion. I was really hoping that Onyx Storm would make up for it, and I can assure you that it definitely did. Which, if you would like more details about my opinions on the book and what I thought, definitely go watch my previous video, which is my January 2025 reading wrap up. I kind of explain why it literally far exceeded any of my expectations. I really enjoyed Onyx Storm. Secondly, like I had mentioned earlier, I love the Jacksonville Race series and have literally devoured every single book that is in that series. And we are so lucky to be getting a 4th book and a 5th book in the series, and the 4th book in that series is coming out on the 22nd of July, and this one follows Teddy and Henrik Carlson. Teddy's our little PT. He was a PT intern in the first book, and his career has obviously evolved as the series has gone on, and Henrik Carlson is a defenseman, I believe, for the Jacksonville Rays. So yes, as soon as this book comes out, locking myself in my room, I will not be talking to anyone, chain me to my reading chair, because that book will get my undivided attention from cover to cover. And need I say any further, Emily Rath is, I hold her at very high regard, if you haven't figured it out. Thirdly, another book that I'm looking forward to is Wildside by Elsie Silver. I am a country cowboy romance girly to my absolute core. I absolutely devoured the Chestnut Springs series. I absolutely loved her writing style, and I often fall into the trap of becoming obsessed with Elsie Silver regularly. And so that one comes out on the 4th of March, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where the rest of this universe... Okay, my camera decided that it didn't want to cooperate with the video that was occurring, so I had to take a brief pause. But we are back. Yes, so finally the 4th book that I'm looking forward to the most this year. It's kind of 2 in 1, which I know is cheating, but it's the start of a new series and I'm so excited. As you may have picked up in my January wrap-up video, that I am definitely somebody who loves a dark romance book. I just love, the more unhinged men the better, you know. And I am a hockey romance girly to the day I die. Hockey romance is what started a chain of events that changed a lot about me all of last year. So when I heard that the amazing Rena Kent was releasing a hockey romance, dark hockey romance series in 2025, I just about died and went to heaven. So the first 2 books in the series, they're called Beautiful Venom and Sweet Venom. Beautiful Venom. Oh my god, all I'm thinking about is Venom now, thanks to Onyx Storm. Beautiful Venom and Sweet Venom. So these are, like I just said, my 2 favourite genres literally colliding and forming the perfect little book baby that will be. So the first book, Beautiful Venom, is coming out on the 27th of May. And I will read that. I'm sure I will absolutely devour it. Make sure that I actually say, like, make sure that I actually mean that, because I'll be really sad if I end up not liking a book from her, which I'm yet to have that happen. So if I say that, make sure that it's getting on recording. And that one comes out on the 27th of May, and then we have to patiently wait agonizingly long until December for the Sweet Venom to come out, which the date is to be confirmed at this stage. Moving right along, we have Bookish goals for 2025. There's a few things that I have kind of in my goals, but there are definitely 3 that are kind of the main focus point of my 2025, on top of, you know, surviving uni and my career. But the first goal is definitely to prioritize reading books that I genuinely enjoy and want to consume. Like I said earlier, fall into the trap really easily of like starting a book and reading it until the very end, despite whether I like it or not, because I feel the need to finish something that I've started. And I know that, you know, DNFing books is a thing, and it's actually a really important thing, because otherwise people end up in reading slumps. Every time I read a book that I didn't absolutely love and devour, I end up in a reading slump. So I am definitely trying to teach myself to read books for the enjoyment of them, not to read them to finish them. So yes, that's my first goal, is to prioritize reading books that I enjoy and DNFing books when I'm not enjoying them. If I'm, you know, not literally loving it from the first chapter, or I'm not finding myself reaching for it on my lunch breaks at work, or when I'm sitting doing nothing, I'm just doom scrolling. If I'm not like, oh my god, I should be reading this book, it's so good, then it's time to move on from that book, because obviously I'm not excited and eager to keep reading it. Secondly, which is kind of following along with this tag, is I definitely want to branch out into some new genres. Like I've mentioned prior, I'm always a romance reader, and I think I always will be, but I definitely would love to kind of understand a few more genres. I really would love to get into, like I said, thrillers, psychological thrillers, the ones that really make you think. But I also would really love to get into some dystopian kind of books. I read Shatter Me, the first book in the Shatter Me series, and I really enjoyed that dystopian style like world building. So I definitely would like to keep reading the Shatter Me series if I can get my hands on it. But yeah, I definitely would like to branch out to some more genres to kind of broaden my reading horizons. And then third and final goal, which is still very hush hush. I haven't told many people this, and now I'm about to tell the internet. I would like to finish the first draft of my book. I can't believe I said that online. Yes, so my first book that I'm writing. I've always been such like a kid that loved the creative writing class at school, or the task in an exam where we had to do creative writing. Especially in Australian schools, a lot of our years there's always one assignment in high school or primary school that required a creative writing task to really kind of dive into our explorative writing, and I absolutely ate those up. I loved them. I always did really well on them because I loved them so much, and I am definitely living in the era of why not. Like, what's the worst that can happen? I don't get published. That's fine. It was a learning curve. So yes, I would love to finish the first draft of my book this year as well. The next question is a book that's on your TBR that you probably won't ever read. I know we all kind of fall into the trap of having a never-ending TBR, or we always joke about, you know, death before finishing your TBR, whatever like that. And there is definitely one series that's on my TBR. Don't get me wrong, the covers are stunning and the author is an author that I will forever love reading. But I just don't see myself reaching for these books, and it's the If Love series by Anna Huang. Like I said, I have it on my shelf and the covers are absolutely stunning. They all kind of blend beautifully together, but I just can't find myself reaching for them. I couldn't even tell you what they're about. Love, I'm assuming. But yeah, that's definitely a series that I don't think I find myself ever finishing. Maybe one day when I run out of books to read, but I really hope that that grim day doesn't ever occur. A series that you want to read this year. I mentioned that the first book in this series was one of my priority reads for 2025, and it's the Lightlark series. I definitely want to start that series, and when I say that I have the most stunning special edition of this book, and I feel, I just know in my core that it's going to encapsulate the most beautiful fantasy book because of how stunning the outside is. And I know that sounds so like cliche, judging a book by its cover, but when I tell you that I can just feel in my gut that I know that this is going to be a really, really good fantasy read. So I definitely want to read that series and kind of read the continuation of the rest of the series. Oh, this is a really fun one. Your auto buy authors for 2025. So these are authors that if they write it, I'm gonna buy it. It doesn't matter if they bloody release a grocery list on Instagram stories, I'm gonna read it. And coming in at number one will always be my top winner is Emily Rath. If she writes it, I'm reading it. Like, I don't care what she writes, and I've told her that. I've told her, you write me a grocery list, girl, and I'm reading it. There ain't no way that I'm gonna skip over anything that this woman writes. So yes, Emily Rath is my top auto buy author, and I think she will forever be a top auto buy author. The second one is Elsie Silver. Love her books, and I think I'm always gonna love her books, so she's another auto buy. If she releases it, I'm gonna buy it and read it. Like I said earlier, I loved the Chestnut Springs series, and I think her writing style is just easy. Sometimes when you're reading a dark romance book and it's like straight carnage, straight chaos throughout the whole book, and then you transition to an Elsie Silver, it's like coming home after the most crazy, jam-packed filled holiday. Like, you can kind of breathe easier, and you're like, okay, this is gonna be nice. It's gonna be beautiful and pleasant. And don't get me wrong, there is third act breakups in her books, yes. But do I still feel like home when I read her writing? Yes. So Elsie Silver is my second auto buy. And then my third auto buy is, she is an author. Her name is Meredith Trapp. And she has only debuted last year, and she's already released 2 books. She released Icebound and Homebound. And when I tell you that I loved these books with all of my heart, well, I've only read the first one, but I've read the blurb of the second one, and I'm so excited to get onto it. And it's actually, again, in my Feb TBR. But the way that she writes people, not even just men, but both of the main characters in love, is just so warm and gooey, and I just love it. And she's just announced that she's releasing a 3rd book, and she's finished writing it. and I'm so excited to see what's in store for the rest of this series, and for her as well. My fourth auto by author is Anna Huang. I feel like it goes without saying, her writing style is fantastic. She's a fantastic author, and there is yet to be a book that I've DNF'd of hers, even though I just said that I probably wouldn't read the If Love series. But I'm really looking forward to King of Envy. That comes out in the day before my birthday, so in March, and I'm really looking forward to finishing that series as well. And I don't know, I could talk about Anna Huang all day and tell you all the amazing things about her writing style, but we'll keep it short and sweet. Anna Huang. And then finally Rena Kent. She is my dark romance god. She writes dark, morally grey men to perfection, and so if she writes it, I'm gonna read it. Continuing on, a sequel that you're anticipating in 2025. Now, there is so many books coming out this year, and when I tell you that I only found one that I was really excited for that was actually a sequel, there's heaps of prequels coming out, there's heaps of like third books in the series, or the fourth book in the series coming out, or like the first book in the series, but there is none that's the second book in the series that I've found that I'm really looking forward to, that I'm like, oh my god, I cannot wait until this comes out. So if I did have to pick one, only because I know what the content is based on, it would be the Caught Up book by Navessa Allen, which is the second book in like the Lights Out series. And this one I know follows a biker, from what I can tell, follows a biker, and I just feel like I'm gonna enjoy it. I love a fun little biker storyline. Like, we love a little motorcycle club vibe. Bookish things in 2024 that we are leaving in 2024. There's only two things that I will die on the hill of, and the first thing is forcing myself to finish what I've started, / making myself DNF books. Like I said, I wasted so much time last year reading books that I didn't enjoy, and it was not worth it in the end. And so yes, we are leaving me forcing myself to finish books in 2024. We are DNFing books if we do not liking them. And then the second is spoiling books without warning. Guys, when I tell you that so many books have been spoiled, because sometimes I just am on Instagram just like existing, and then it's like pop up, there's a spoiler of, I don't know, I don't know, I can't even remember what got spoiled for me last time, but it was like a pop-up of a spoiler, and I was like, guys, can you give us a warning? Like, put a little, you know, you can put more than one photo on an Instagram post, put a warning on the first photo and be like, do not scroll unless you want a spoiler. Same with TikTok, don't put spoilers in your TikToks unless you give us a warning. I'm all for like posting the content of a book, or like posting quotes and stuff like that, but put a warning, especially if the book has only just come out. Not all of us can read at the speed of light. So if a book has only just come out, give it a month and a half before you stop putting the spoiler warnings on it, please. Okay, next question. What did you expect from my account this year? Now, this is my first year posting on YouTube. It took me so long to kind of just bite the bullet and do it. So you will be expecting more content. I will be posting more frequently. I'm holding myself accountable to this, and I definitely want to keep posting more book style content, of course. And same with my TikTok account, it's going to be completely book themed over there as well. So if you're really enjoying the long form videos, but you want something quick and, you know, bite-sized, if you will, jump on my TikTok account as well, so that you can kind of see the short form if you're busy or you're wanting to watch something a little bit quicker. And there will be at least monthly 24-hour reading challenges, because I love those. I get unhinged at the ungodly hours of the morning, and I think reading books at that ungodly hour of the morning makes me further unhinged. So there will be at least a monthly 24-hour reading vlog, and it's a great way to kind of chew through my physical TBR, because I'm hopeless at doing that. And finally, I'm hoping to post some writing vlogs. Do not expect them every week, every month, but there will be a little splash of writing vlogs in there while I'm going through the motions of writing my first ever book. How has your reading taste evolved from last year? So I've been reading consistently for 2 years now, and so much has changed. And even just from the end of last year to the start of this year has changed. Sorry, the end of the year before to the end of the last year has changed. And it's the best way to kind of explain it is it's gone from reading fluffy romance, almost YA romance, to reading the filthiest, ungodliest, most unhinged men books that I've, like, you can't even fathom, and I'm just a feral now. Like, I am feral for the most morally grey man you can find. Add him to 100, times it by 100, and I'll still be frothing it. So yeah, but I'm still all about a nice fluffy lovey romance, and I'm actually currently in the middle of a fluffy lovey romance because I probably read too many dark romances last month, and I felt like it was getting very oversaturated. So yes, that's the only difference really I've noticed, is that it's gone from reaching only for very fluffy YA style to reading the most unhinged men on the planet. Booktube creators who inspire you. Now, one of these creators I've been watching since I was in my teen years, and I've watched her literally graduate from her degree. And the other two I've discovered, and I devour their content like I'm a starved woman. Like, I have that stuff on in the background all the damn time. So the first creator is Rachel Catherine. I follow her on Instagram, I follow her on YouTube, on TikTok. She was the first person that really kind of, she was my first booktuber, if you will, that I kind of was like, oh, people are actually posting about what they care about with books, and I want to do that. And yeah, I watched her finish her uni and then go and get married and all of this stuff. So I've definitely been a loyal subscriber to her for a very, very long time, and I think I will always be. Her content is just so wholesome and lovely, and yeah, she's a fellow Australian. I do love supporting Down Under. So yeah, and I just think that she's just like the sweetest human being ever. I've never met her in my life, but she seems like the sweetest human being I've ever met. And then Larry is another one. She is so funny. Like, if I need a good laugh and a good book review that's going to make me giggle, she's the first person I'm looking up. She's so funny, and she's so honest with her book reviews too. There ain't no beating around the bush with this one. She will tell you what she thinks about this book, and I love it, because I hate when somebody's like, oh, like it was I feel like I'm like this. I probably am like this, but it's like, oh, it was okay, but you know, this would, like, just tell me if you hate it. Tell me if you hate it so that I don't waste my time reading it. And then this creator is, she's my be all and end all. She is how I decide if I am going to pick up a book, because if she enjoyed it, I'm more than likely going to enjoy it, because her favourite book is also my favourite book, which is Red, White and Royal Blue, one of my favourite books. And it is Belle Therese. I think that's how you say her middle name. I think it's her middle name, Therese. So she's also another Aussie book topper. Oh my gosh, I can't speak today. She's another Aussie booktuber, and she, like, her videos are on loop constantly. I literally have a video paused open on my computer while I film this, because I just have her constantly playing in the background. I'll be doing my laundry, she's playing in the background telling me about some unhinged man or some fairy tale that she just read, or I'm bloody in the kitchen doing my uni notes and she's telling me about her book that she just read. I love her reviews and I love her content. Her content is, it's just refreshing. I really enjoy it. So yeah, those are my three ride or die booktube creators across every platform that they own. Okay, the final question. I have pins and needles in my foot and it's really not comfortable. The final question is, well, it's not really a question, it's more of a statement. Something that you want to say to anyone who wants to start a bookish themed account. Now, I can't speak from, you know, successful experience or whatever like that, but I can tell you something that a medical professional told me when I told them that I was anxious to do something like this, and they said, who cares? Because they were like, what is stopping you? Like, why is there such a roadblock? And it was literally purely me saying, I don't want people I know to take the piss out of me. And her response flat out was, who cares? She said if they're, you know, making fun of you or talking poorly of you, they're not somebody that you want to associate with anyway. So who cares? And so easy, I know it's easier said than done, and like things, obviously our minds are a greatest weapon, but they also are the worst thing for us at the same time. They make scenarios up that we don't want. So I know it's easier said than done, but just do it. Like if you get 3 views or you get 300 views, like if you want to talk about something that you're passionate about, and that's the biggest thing, is if you are the most passionate person in the room, somebody's going to listen to you. And I'd rather one person listen to you and have 5 negative people listen to you, and instead of you just not doing it. So just do it. Like somebody's going to care for your opinion. Somebody's going to look to you one day and be like, oh my god, this person recommended this book and it's the best thing that they ever did. So be that person for somebody. Be that confidence that somebody's like, oh my god, they recommended this book, I have to go and get it now. And it just starts from having that confidence. Be yourself and be confident in what you do. And if you're passionate about it, be passionate about it. Because I've been like, take it from somebody who's been told she's loud and over the top and gets excited over the silliest things. Get excited over the silliest things. Tell people about it. Get excited about what makes your soul excited. Like light yourself on fire and enjoy it. Do not stop yourself from posting a video in fear that somebody's going to make fun of you, because there will always be somebody who is going to think down on you or think that you're stupid or whatever. But then there's going to be, take my TikTok for example, 12.1 people that genuinely care for your opinion on something, and even if it is just as little as a book. There's people out there that want your opinions and they want to hear the good, the bad, the ugly about a book or a product, or just post. Just click post. What's the worst that can happen? Okay, well that about sums up this reading tag. I am very, very much looking forward to, I don't know why I can't English today. My god, stop talking. I am very much looking forward to see how I finish off this year when I do the end of year reading tag. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how many books I actually read out of the 100, because if it's anything like how I'm going right now, I'm still doom scrolling on my phone. So that'll be an interesting statistic to know. But thank you for listening to me yap for yet another video. I'm so glad that you guys listen to me yap, because I find my voice very irritating. So, but yeah, let me know your reading goal for the year. I'm curious to see how many books everyone's planning on reading for the year, what kind of genres we want to read. Tell me all the things. Tell me all the things. I'm so excited to find out what you guys are vibing for the year. But yeah, that's it. I enjoyed filming this video. I enjoyed talking to you, even though there's no one here. And I'll see you in the next video, which I am promising you will be my February TBR and hopefuls video, definitely. But other than that, I'll see you, love you, bye. Have a good week, make good choices.